Feet, lift the toes, spread the toes, lengthen them back down. And just let's bend the knees for a moment and just do some gentle circles with the pelvis. A little bit of Polynesian dancing. And then the circle the other way. Good. And then just slowly straightening the legs, feeling that the pelvis is nice and heavy and lengthened down, lifting the rib cage a little bit away from the pelvis. And remember, hand on heart, hand on lower ribs, and these two hands stack. So for most of us, it means bringing that underneath hand a little bit into your body to feel the weight transfer more solidly into the soles of your feet. Gently slide the head back. Let's just take the hands, back of the hands, pressing on the side ribs, and think about that lateral breath, or potentially 360-degree breath, where as you breathe in, your ribs expand gently out, relax back to center. If you want, eyes closed, take another 5 breaths. Being curious to see if one side is more expansive than the other, see if what you can do to bring evenness to it. And then taking one deep breath in through the nose and a little bit more in, and then blowing out through the mouth. Bringing the hands to prayer position in front of your body. And with the prayer position, I let my hands a little bit angle out from the body, because then I can have my shoulders a little bit more, again, connected at the back. If I try to bring the hands to the body, it's pulling my shoulders away from the spine. If I let them coming out a little bit, I can keep nice and broad across the collarbones. Have a little bit of cord engaged from your pubic bone towards your navel, which creates that little bit of security around the hip bones and pelvis. And then when you're ready, on an inhalation, swinging the arms back, feel that gentle opening across the front of the body. Exhale, hands come to connect with the abdomen. Awareness of the body and breath. And then a little higher, feel that gentle opening out of the fronts of the shoulders. And again, connecting hands to heart, awareness of our emotions. And a little higher again, like bird wings opening up. Middle finger finds in between the eyebrows, awareness of our mind, thoughts, and beliefs. Gently coming up onto a rise, circling the arms up and around, inhaling. Exhale, see if you can stay on the rise and have a little knee bend, elbows draw into the sides. And again, a little engagement of the shoulder blades. And again, feeling out into the space, the energetic life force around us, our connection to one another and ourselves, and coming back to standing. I'll talk one more through. Inhale, low with the arms. Exhale, connecting with the abdomen area, anywhere there is good. And then a little higher, so we're just working the shoulders in a little bit of a range, acknowledging self-care, self-love of oneself. Mind, thoughts, balance. And I do this with the arms turned out so that you get that, yeah, there we go. So you get that shoulder blade engagement again, up to the rise and back to standing. Let's go a couple more times, and this could be in your own time, and your breath rhythm and your movements might be different than me. If you know the regime here, just go in your own sweet time. And the part where we're not on a rise, you could always do with your eyes closed if you wish, just to amplify sensation and awareness. Feeling out into the space. and our interconnection to energy, positive light, and love. So just pausing when you're finished this next one, just reflecting on maybe an intention you have for the class today. Or a quality of being that you wish to embody, or a sense of ease that you wish to create. We had a little talk about the neck area just here. So while we're here, I quite like resting the hands on the lower ribs so that I don't pop my ribs forward when I do my head retraction. So just gently, I'll come a little closer to the camera. But here we're going to do our little bit of head retractions where we gently lengthen the head back and relax. So I'll show side view. So it's just, and I feel with these things, it's not forcing, but it's just a sense of getting that nice length through there, lengthening the upper body. I feel like I'm making progress actually at the moment. It's becoming a little bit more whatever you focus on, but I've been focusing on this the last week or two. And just noticing as I peel my potatoes or whatever it might be, if they're non-organic, that is, you know, that I'm not dropping my head forward as I do it. All right. And then let's do this other one. We release your hands by your side. Let's take the left arm in behind the back and roll and open that shoulder. Think about bringing your ribs a little bit back to the hand. So you feel like this nice opening here. And then we'll take a direct side bend away from that arm. So you're side bending to your right. And we'll do that one that that teacher of Carol suggested. I think it's quite good. You stay here, and then you, with your eyes, you look visually down as if you could see your shoulder, but it doesn't matter. You're just kind of looking diagonally down and pause and breathe. I like to breathe into the back hand. And then look diagonally up. So that would be diagonally up to your left. And then relax and float the head back up. Release the arm. It's quite nice having had that in the position for a little bit. Then we'll take the right arm in behind the back. And where it comes is high enough up the back, but that you get a stretch, but not so high that your shoulder has to roll forward. So you want to be able to roll and open that shoulder out. At the same time, bring your ribs back towards the hand. So then you get this nice sense of engagement and breath. And then we're going to take the head over to the left this time. So the other way, Jennifer. Here we go. So away from the arm that you've got in place. And then you can look diagonally down to your left. Probably the fascia around the eyes are connected somehow to the whole shaboodle. Really anatomical term then. And then you're going to look diagonally right up. And then we're going to float our head back up. And this is another one that's quite good for the head and neck. This one goes, I'll just wait for one of us to finish there. That's it. So again, just feeling like you've got their head free but aligned, the ribs just gently into the body. This one's going to be, we're going to do a side bend, a turn with the head. So this one is, you inhale your right arm up, and as you breathe out and that arm comes down, you're going to turn your head to the left. At the end of that exhalation, your head faces front. Then you inhale your left arm up. Feel the left side of the body lengthening. As you breathe out, head turns to right. Arm floats down as you breathe out. And then head comes to the front. So it goes. So in your own time, breathing in. As you breathe out, arm comes down and head turns in opposition to the straight arm or the one that's coming down. Let's go a couple more times each side. Okay. And then this week I promised some more work on squats. We're going to start with parallel squats. Now, if you happen to have a stretchy band, you could have your legs together, and you can make a little present of your thighs. If you don't have one, it doesn't matter, but just to give you the idea. So I'm going to take a little bow there and tie my legs together. If you have a little strap somewhere. Yeah, so you want to start with your legs together so that you've got some pressure on it, so that when we come into hip width apart, you're going to feel like there's some pressure against your thighs. Okay, try and spread it out a little bit. All right. So here, now, we'll start with the feet straight forward. Now, what you also can't see potentially, although it depends on how you've got your video organized, or if you had a mirror, you want to end up with your knees facing straight forward. In the University Squat University article, he talks about when you lift weights to actually create a little bit of a rotation, outward rotation through your thighs. But I would say, yes, we want to feel like the buttocks are working as though you were about to turn your leg out, but I think just to the point where your knees are tracking straight forward. You just don't want your knees to be rolling inwards. Okay, so then from there, again, I set my body, get my spine lengthened, have a little bit of engagement through the core. And what we're going to do today is we're going to have, I'll show you the arm thing first. So we're going to start off with the arms out. We can do this together. And then we're going to sit down in the squat with the arms out. But I was going to show you while we're facing straight forward. You can do it with me. And what's going to happen is you're going to take one arm out to the side and then back to the front while we're in the squat in a moment, and out to the side and back to the front. And then we're going to both arms out and to the front, and then we'll stand up. And then when we go down the next time, we're going to sit down again, and we're going to do one more different variation where we're going to have the arms out to the front, and we're going to take one arm up and back to parallel, and up and back to parallel, and both arms up and down, and then stand up. Now, just be careful when you take your arms up, don't let your back arch. See if you can keep that containment. All right, so we're going to add it into our squat now. So we've got that little pressure out. We're going, I'll show side view, sit back. And here, one arm comes out, back to the center, out, back to the center, keep breathing. Both arms out, back to the center, and let's just stand up, let the arms come down. Inhale the arms up, exhale, sit back, like a lightning shape, and then we've got one arm coming up and down. The other arm up and down. Keep the core on, both arms up and down, and then inhale, stand up. Are we all right? And again, sit back, out to the side, one arm. Head in line with spine if you can. And then the other arm out to the side and back, and just breathing through it. Both arms out to the back, out to the sides and back, and inhale up. We should be feeling our buttocks, maybe our thighs. And sit back again. One arm up without displacing the ribs, and back. And the other arm. And both arms. Keep breathing. I was going to do it with the breath, but I think we're just enough to think about. Good. Okay, now we're going to do 10 just going down and up. And we'll start with our arms forward. So exhale, sit back, inhale up. Exhale back, inhale up. Keep going. If you feel dizzy, pause. So make sure the body is sitting back, the knees aren't coming too far forward. It's more that your buttocks are going back and your body is hinging slightly forward to do it. I've kind of lost count, but I think there's another 4 if you've got the energy. Yeah, well, actually, we'll do it differently with the arms next time, actually, because I can see that's probably as a challenging position for the arms for some of you. All right, take a little break. Let's have the arms back here. So we've got that position where we're like that. So I feel like the dizzy factor that happens, this brain going up and down, is something you can build tolerance to over time. So just do what you can today. Let's see if we can try another 10 in this position, standing tall, and we'll just, as we go back, we'll just keep our arms in that position. I suppose we could go that way if you wanted. No, we'll just keep it still and focus on the other form. So, yep, exhale, sitting back, spine long, ribs into the body, inhale up. Exhale, sitting back, and inhale up. And now I'm going to watch you guys keep those lower ribs into the body. A little bit more ribs into the body, Jen. Tuck it in. That's it. You got it. Try a few more if you're willing. Good. And don't make it too deep if you want to make it not too hard. Keeping those shoulders back. So elbows back by your sides. That's it. They can stay there. Ribs into the body. Ribs into the body. Yes, yes, yes. Good. Last one. Nice. All right. So then we had that idea that we're retracting the shoulder blades and getting into that position. Good. All right. So what we want to do for a moment is stand on one foot. So the other foot just a little bit off the ground. And then see if you can just turn that free foot, turn it out from your hip, turn it in, turn it out, turn it in. So when your leg is turning out, it's coming from your hip. You can feel those muscles in your buttock that are engaging. So that's where we want to turn our legs from our hip, not from our knees or our feet so much. All right. And then change to the other side, take your weight, keep the core on, keep the ribs in, and then see how we go with this one, turning in, turning out. So that's it. So that's the idea, to get that you're turning, when you turn your legs out, you're turning from the hips. So we're going to do our wider leg stance. And maybe we'll just have hands on hips for a moment. So how much you turn your legs out. So if you can spin, so you can start with your feet straight forward. So that is a possibility, is to have your feet straight forward when you do a squat. Let's try 3 like that. So we've got our feet straight forward, we've got our legs wider, we're going to sit back, aim that butt back, exhale back, and inhale up. So the crease is at the hip. Exhale back, ribs into the body, and up. Try it again. So I always feel like a slightly wider stance just gives me more space. My body, my butt, my belly doesn't get in the way so much. I've got more range. Now let's try the same thing. So again, spin your feet a little bit from your heels. So lift the front of the foot up so you can spin from your hips just like we did before. So you've got a little bit of a turn up. And the Squat University suggests no more than 30 degrees out, if you can understand your degrees. So you want to be too far out. And let's sit back again and see how that feels, finding it with some turnout. So sitting back, see how low you can go. Oh, I know what I meant to add into this. And come back up. And sit back. So I feel like I've got lots more space, but your hip sockets might be different than mine. All right, and come up. All right, so decide which one works for you. And I think what we'll do is we'll come down and do a little bit of the one we did before. We take one arm out to the side, one arm out to the side, both, and then stand up and then the up ones. All right. And with the arms being forward, what you could do so that you're not sliding your shoulders too far away, maybe have the elbows a little bent so you can really keep the shoulders retracted when you're sitting down. So let's get that in that position now. Arms up a little bit, shoulders retracted back. And this is what I do before I lift anything. I engage across from hip bone to hip bone, from pubic bone towards the navel. I have this strong. I have the ribs into the body, and I'm ready now to get down with weights. All right. So then you're going to sit back, stay back, take one arm out to the side, and then back to the front, and then the other one, and back to the front. Both arms go out to the side, back to the front, stand up. All right, yeah, okay, so if you need a release in between, we'll do that with the other variation. And again, arms slightly forward, retracted back, ribs in, core on. A little bit of activation maybe in the buttock area, just to feel like you're already primed. All right, and then sitting back. And this time, keep your head in line with your spine if you can, but take one arm up and down. The other one up and down, both arms up and down, and stand up. Good. Yeah, some of us warming up there a little bit. One more thing, just before we go. Take your strap off. I just want to do one thing before we go. So part of getting down to the squat is mobile ankles. So let's just mobilize the ankles a little bit. So this one is standing straight forward, and you're going to step your left foot forward without turning your right foot out. So your back foot is going to be remain in parallel. Good. All right, so how this one's going to go is we're going to inhale the arms up, and then we're going to bend the front foot and lean forward and take the arms back. So we get a stretch on the back leg. And inhale up, and exhale forward. And inhale up, and exhale. Spine in a long line, shoulders opening as you take them back. All right, then you're going to stay there in that leaning forward position, and you're just going to move your arms back a little bit and then back to your side. So you're just kind of working around the shoulder blades again, activating just in a sort of 6-inch range, back in there. Good. Pause with the arms, nod the head down for a moment. And then bring it to level and stand up. So that should have freed up your back leg, that foot. So we're going to change the other way around. So left leg straight forward, step that. Right leg forward, hip width apart with your legs. All right, get that in position. There's lots of changing of layers here at the moment, everyone. All right, so this one is inhale the arms up. Same thing, and we're going to lean forward a little bit, head in line with the rest of the body, and the arms can swing back, fronts of the shoulders open. Then you straighten that front leg, and the arms come up, breathe in. And exhale, lean forward. So we're trying to bring a stretch on the calf of the back leg. And do a little vinyasa type of thing with it. Up and down, in your own time. Everyone's doing good, what I can see. Nice and easy with the breath. And the next time that we come down, we're going to stay down and do that, taking the arms back a little bit to get a stretch across the front of the chest, front of the shoulders, and then release to your sides. And back and to the sides. A few times. And then you're going to pause and just gently nod the head down. And then bring it back up and come up. So the nodding the head down a little bit is like tractioning the fascia that connects down the back. Okay, we're back to our one more time for the squats. So again, I get my foundation of my feet, I lift the toes, so I get my arches working, spread the toes, so I'm active through my feet. So you've got a tripod there, the center of the heel, the ball of the big toe. Good. And again, remember to engage the belly, bring the ribs in, keep those shoulders retracted a little bit, And then we're going to go up and down 5 times. We're going to stay down on the 5th time, pause for a couple of breaths if we can, and then we'll do one more set. Okay, take a breath in. Exhale, sit back. Inhale, coming up. See how low you can go with a neutral spine. The knees might come a little bit more forward. It's okay. And then we're going to sit down if we can. If you need a rest, you can have a rest, but otherwise, see if you can come down and hold for a little bit. Keep those shoulders open, keep the belly braced, keep the ribs into the body. When you need to come up, press through the feet, engage through your buttocks, come up. Whew, it always gets my heart going. Are we ready for one more set? All right, so again, make sure your form is good. Ribs in, belly in, shoulders broad, hips engaging, rotating. And last time, down and up 5 times. Exhale down. Inhale up, ground through the feet, ground through the heels. Yeah, it's a lot of tipsy-turvy. Take care of yourself if you need to. Head in line with spine. And last time, coming down and stay if you wish. See how long you can, ribs in. When you need to come up, press through the feet, engage through the heels, engage through the buttocks. All right, good job. All right, let's do change the location. We'll do our little twisty one. You could do this sitting on the bed if you wanted to, Juliet. This would be fine. Just graduate this one. This is the one. In fact, sitting on the bed is quite good for the rotation. So again, if you've got that irritation with the rhomboids, when we reach the arm forward, don't reach it too far forward. Try not to irritate it. So this is the one where you're going to bring your, I'll follow Carol. Bring your right arm up. Then you're going to diagonally rotate over to the left. Then you're going to draw that right arm back, activating the rhomboids, and then opening up and twisting back to your right. So in your own time, I quite like with the breath, inhalation up. Now there is no load. For those of you with no damage to your rhomboids, it doesn't matter if it stretches forward a little bit because there's no load really. It's not like you're trying to pull anything with your arm. You're just getting a little mobility. But you are engaging it a little bit as you draw that elbow back and open up behind you. Let's go 3 more times. If you're standing, notice how the weight through the feet changes. And that's okay. Last one. And relax. Just notice what you notice. Maybe a little bit more openness on that right side. And then we'll go the other one. So left arm up, diagonally rotating over towards your right. Then drawing that left arm back, the elbow back, and engaging through the rhomboids, opening out to the back. Inhalation forward and across a little bit. Exhalation back. Seeing where you're going. 1 or 2 more. And I feel the urge to share with you something I heard on the radio yesterday, the head of the defensive motorcycle driving, and he was talking about target vision. So when you look where you want to go, you are more likely to go there. And I must share this thing that he said, that if perchance the uncomfortable thing of someone is heading on your side of the road, your best, a lot of us will freeze, your best pre-plan, that's why I'm sharing it now, is to see if you can get off the road. And again, visually aim for where you want to go. And this applies, I feel like, to walking, to riding, all sorts of things. Often we have in our minds the worry of not hitting something. And apparently that's what he says the problem with median barriers is that sometimes people are then focused on that and then collide with them. So you want to really be focusing on exactly where you go. So I feel like this is a very good technique. It's good for your neck as well, by the way. So we're going to do our long warrior to finish the standing section. And I want you to maybe reflect on what it is that you would like to focus on today. So we'll take let's take the right leg forward, the left leg back. Yeah. And you're going to swing the arms back and then come into your lunge where your arms are forward. Again, focusing where we want to go. Then we're going to open out to our left. And we're going to do a side bend, bringing the right arm down on the inside of the right leg and the left arm over if that feels all right for your shoulders and upper back. Engage through the ground, engage through your core, bring yourself up. You're into the warrior pose again, that focus. Then bringing the other arm forward. And then we're going to have a gentle twist to the right and to the front. And then we're going to let the arms relax down and have a little circle, opening up to support from outside of ourselves, and then come back to prayer position. Let's do that one more time this side. Inhale the arms back. Exhale, come into the lunge. Opening the left side of the body away from the right. And side bending to the right. Ground through the feet to come up. Bring the back arm to the front. A gentle twist to the right. And to the front. And then releasing those arms, circling them up. Opening up to energetic life force, back to prayer. Let's come through to the other side. Standing tall, take that right leg back, left leg forward, long through the spine, floating head. Inhale the arms back. Exhale, bend the left knee, arms forward. But even in this one, again, keep those shoulders broad. Keep the shoulder blades slightly retracted when you're ready. Opening out to the right side. And then side bend to the left. Inhaling up. Right arm comes to the front. And then arms release and circle. And pray. One more time. With free abandon, arms swing back. And a gentle lunge forward. Opening the right side away from the left. Side bend to the left. Coming on up. To your camera. And then releasing, circling. Let's come to standing just before we come down for our next section. Let's do our gentle nerve stretch. So I'll just stand here. So this is the one with the hands in prayer position. This is for neck and shoulders. Hands come down wherever they come to. So you get a stretch on the wrist. Then the arms come up. Indian dancer. See if you can avoid taking your head forward, but see if you can take your hands behind. Sometimes I kind of lean back a little bit into the hands. Then we've got the releasing into seagull with the palms facing the body. stretching across the top of the wrist. And then the one where you take the arms back and the fingers forward. We'll go through that one more time. Prayer position. Indian dancer. That's not part of it, but hands behind the head. I find this a good armpit stretch. And then palms stretching across the top of the wrist. And then that one where you take the arms back. When we're on the ground, at some point, we're going to do one for our head and neck, and I'll show you it in standing. It's going to be where you, like if you turned your head to your left arm is going to turn out and your right arm is going to turn inwards. And then you come back to the center and the palms face towards your sides and your head faces the other way. And then as you turn your head to the right, your right arm rotates slightly out and your left arm rotates slightly inwards. So we'll be doing that on the ground, but I thought it was easy to explain while we're sitting. Let's come on down and maybe we'll start with a few clams. Think about our low backs a little bit. So you need something for your head. I need to I'll move my camera down. And I'm using my squat to do all those things of getting everything down to the ground. My camera down with my wide leg squat. So who needs to do a whole lot of hip stretching if you're just using your hips in good everyday ways? There we go. We're good. Floor. So I've got my Washington State Stevens Pass t-shirt on with a tree and a mountain. Good energetic imagery. I want to lift the underneath waist a little bit. And here, even here, I've got my core a little bit on. I've got my shoulders broad. And you can either rest your hand on your side, or sometimes if you want to open the shoulder, you could rest your hand on your hip and your shoulder will do a nice opening thing. So from here, we're going to open and close. Well, let's open the top leg and just do a few pulses just to turn on the back side. Been using that little technique. Thank you, Carol, for sharing. Can't see you, Carol, but there we go. So just a few little pulses. So it's just like the last centimeter that you're pressing up to get it turned on. Once you've got it turned on, you can lower it all the way down and then lift up. Now, if this is hard, it usually often is hard on my trochanter, but today it's feeling good. But generally speaking, I do prefer for myself having those feet elevated. That's resting on the underneath thigh. That makes me feel, I just like the sensation of that one better. But if you prefer with your feet on the ground, there's nothing wrong with that. You find the best one for you. I've got my core a little bit engaged, just slightly, just to keep my body in neutral. And really what I'm focusing on is the back pocket area, the rotators of the hip that help keep your sacrum sacred and healthy and happy, and your hip joints. If you want to, you can add more load by extending the shin bone when you've got it up to lifted in that turned out position. So just watch if you do this one, don't let the thigh turn in, keep it turned out. You should feel it like it's just creating more work in your buttock. And this is one where we could have had the band tied onto us. We'd have less range, but we'd have more quick work. Just a few more of those. So just switching her on. Good. And then let's just do 10 quick little pulses at the end to finish this side. So if you need to stabilize, you can have your hand down, open, open. So it's just the last centimeter. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo. And then give it a nice wee massage. Well done. Good. Awakening. So you could either roll over, or one of the techniques to sit up in between is to kick your top leg a little bit towards you and then extend it away, and let that counterbalance movement will bring you up. And I'm going to swap sides like that. So all the transitions are as important as the exercise. So if you can find nice, easeful ways to move from place to place, set those shoulders broad, bring your head back in line with your spine. Remember this when you go to sleep at night, not to curl forward. Lift your underneath ribs, and that hand can either rest there or here. So you can either have the feet on the ground or the feet elevated. We did that thing where we lifted the top knee first and just do a few little pulses at the top end range. Ooh, mine's kicking on pretty quick. Don't need too much awakening there today. I do find that actually, I think as the muscles become responsive, it takes less time for them to call to action. If you want to, the feet up, and you can, when you're ready, you can go for the down and up. So the muscle should relax when it's down, engage progressively as you open the knee up. If you have trouble firing it, remember there's that technique where you make it engage a little first, then you lift the knee. So if you have any sensation that you're working down the outside of your thigh or calf, then do the thing where you can contract the muscle a little first. Nice little Siamese walking across Sue's screen, saying, I do this kind of thing all the time, the cat says. All right, and if you want to, we do that one where you add load, where you open the leg up and then extend the shin bone, which is increasing the load. I think it's called the moment arm on the joint. It's like adding a dumbbell. It's your weight of your whole leg off your hip joint, which is a good thing in this scenario. So long as you don't feel pain on the outside of the hip, you want to feel it in the back side, you're doing good. Head back in line with the spine, feet back in line with the buttocks. And then we've got our 10 little pulses to finish this side, where you, just the last inch, you pulse it up, up, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, yeah, okay. Give it a nice massage. Tell it well done. All right. Then from here, we're going to go into, let's try, how are we going for time? Oh, not too bad. Let's try a little single leg bridging and then double leg bridging. So we're going to go and lie on our backs, potentially without anything under the back of the head. If you find that you're lying back and your head hangs back too much, you could have a thin amount if you like. I'm going to push mine out of the way because I have improved my head position a wee bit over the time. It's good as I get older, and actually got a little better. One thing anyway. So when you're on your back, your arms can be supportive down by your sides. You're going to take one leg to tabletop. If you're feeling fancy, you can take the leg up. I think I would just leave mine at tabletop. And from here, the other foot close enough that as you press on the foot, you lift both hips off the ground, and then you lightly lower it down. See if you can do 10 on one side. But you're not a number. Just listen to your own body, what you can do. You can always not go so high. And again, see if you can focus mostly on the buttock. The hamstrings will help a little bit, but we don't want them cramping. Head nice and easy. I'm up to about 8. Just see if I can see anything, any suggestions there. I think you're all doing good. That's it. All right, and when you've done about 10, or what your number is, then you're going to place the other foot on the ground, bring the other leg to tabletop, and you're keeping the bodies more or less like a plank. You're just lifting the whole thing in unison from your buttocks, coming up and down. We're trying to respond to the effects of gravity on our buttocks by engaging them. Another maintenance activity from the ravages of time. There you go. when you've done your 10 or so, we're going to do 5 bridges where we just go up and down with our arms beside us, and then we could do 5 where we take the arms overhead on an inhalation and bring the body back down with the arms on the exhalation. So you might have to have a little room behind you. So this is first 5 is just simply up and down, both buttocks firing, ribs soften down, buttocks engage. You could pause a little bit at the top, and then just it's a crease at the front of the hip to come down. So we're not rolling through the spine, we're just trying to strengthen the spine all in unison. Oh, I know. Okay. Another thought. So up and down for 5. And then another 5 where you, as your hips come up, your arms can come over. That gives a nice massage to the shoulder blade area. And as you come down, your arms come down beside you. The breath can go either way. Classically in yoga, you would inhale as you come up and exhale as you come down. And in Pilates, you might do the opposite. It doesn't really matter. Again, play it. We're going to have a look at you. A few more. Enjoy. So this is a little bit of lengthening the hip flexors. Oh, so this one, when you get to the top, particularly say for Carol and Sue and Jen, you could really think about opening out through the front of the hips, lengthening out through the thighs, and opening up the hip crease at the top, tucking under a little bit for some of you. All right. Now I've just been thinking about that rhomboids. Oh yeah, the hamstring. Let's give it a rub. Not enough but too much hamstring. All right, maybe we'll do a little bit of our upper back area work. So this would be a classic one with the elbows a little bent. You're going to just lift up, again, engage through the shoulder blades, long through the spine, keep the legs on the ground, but just extending. And when you've had enough, you can just relax a little bit in between. And let's do 3 or 4 of that. So this is rolling and opening the shoulder blades. You don't necessarily come very far. I'm not trying to arch my back. I'm just trying to engage my upper back. Hold for a bit, hold for a few breaths. And if you need to, you can have a blanket in the midsection if it's too much in your low back. That's it. I'm just having a look at you. Palms face the side or towards the floor. So it's an outward rotation of the shoulders, just like we like the outward rotation of the legs. Feel that engagement through the shoulder blade area. And just completing the one that you're with. And while we're here, we'll do that other one that's really good for the shoulders to work the low traps. This is the one where you may need to rest your forehead on something. It's the arms are going to come out to the side, the shoulders are back, and the thumbs face up to the ceiling, and then you're going to go up and down. The goal is to get around the base of the shoulder blade. So your head is resting, it's just your arms about shoulder height going up and down, and see if you can get the low trap muscles working. And I'll just check who I can see, what I can see. This is probably a nice one again for you, Juliet, for that rhomboid area. Won't hurt. This actually works low trap, but it's all connected. That's it, so nice. And this is what we want to get, these low trap muscles working and not the ones up around your neck. So if you feel it around your neck, you just got to pause, try and switch them off and think low shoulder blade area. All right. Good work, friends, yoga friends. So we're going to come up and let's do our little sit back just to release a little bit the other way. Hands just a little forward of the shoulders, ribs still a little into the body. And this one we were going to sit back, get a little stretch and come up. And if you don't want too much stretch, don't sit back too far. I'm still keeping my shoulder blades somewhat pulling down. To and fro. Breathe out. Breathe in. Going. Okay. Well, just got a couple more things. All right. So good work. We're going to come back onto our back, just a little bit of core. We'll also do that one where we're going to do the heads one that I promised you earlier on, and maybe a little bit of our rolling from side to side. So I think we'll just do our marching one for our core today. So just a little bit under the head. Have all your warm things nearby or on. Just get yourself ready. In this one, you want to have that hip bone, pubic bone about level in relation to the floor. So you don't want to have your pubic bone up towards the ceiling. You want to have a little bit of a gap here. You can experiment. If you find you're too flat, walk your feet a little far away from you. If you're too arched, walk your feet a little closer. Slightly soften the lower ribs down. Feel the engagement around the back of the shoulder blades. And you can either have the hands on the floor or thumbs on the lower ribs, fingertips on the front of the hips, and engage again from the pubic bone towards the navel, or think from across the hip bones, slightly bracing there into the body, keeping everything still as you float one leg up off the ground and then return it back. Often I start the exhalation, maybe blowing out through the mouth as I peel the heel and then float, creasing at the hip socket to float the next leg up. So keeping the body as still as we can, about 10 each side. As relaxed as we can for neck and shoulder area. If you want, you can have your arms resting, palms facing the sides on the floor. Keep going, I'll see what I can see of you. The cat is now resting on your core, keeping your ribs down. That's perfect. Make you smile at the same time. That's it, Jen. Good. You don't have to worry about lifting the leg too high. It's that moment of shifting is when the work happens. Looks nice and peaceful in your face there, Juliet. That looks good. All right. I don't know where you're up to, but when you feel you're nicely engaged now at the front, we can do that little one when you're ready. We have your palms facing your sides, so you can just have your feet still on the floor. You can do that extra one if you want to, Jennifer. It's up to you. She's doing her toe taps. But this is for the neck and shoulders. This is the one where you have your palms on about 30 degrees from the side. And as your head rolls, say, to the left, your left arm rotates a little bit palm up. Your right arm rotates a little bit palm down, and your head rolls to the left. Then your head comes back to the center. Your palms face the sides. And then you gently roll your head, turns gently rolling to your right as your right palm turns up and your left palm turns down. So just like a little inward and outward rotation on the shoulders, outward in the direction you're turning to, inward on the direction you're turning away from. And just nice, slowly, enjoyably. You can maybe do it with the breath, inhaling to center, exhaling to the side. Exactly. Nice work, everyone. As you breathe in, feel the back ribs, the back of the lungs expanding. And then if you want, we're nearly there at the end. We can do the one we call the lovely, where the arms come out to the sides in line with your shoulders, palms facing up. If I was to talk it through, the left leg rotates out to the left first. So the left leg opens out first before the right. The right hand finds the chest, slides across the chest, and then your right foot helps push you and roll you onto your left side. Your head just hangs. The palms gently slide past each other. Then the right hand slides back down. Your right knee fans open away from the left, so you're in a little butterfly position with the legs. And then you're slowly swapping to the other side. Right leg's aiming for the ground, left hand finds the chest, sliding across the chest and down the other arm. So as slowly and lovely and enjoyably from side to side, potentially sequencing one leg and then the other. Head just hangs, gentle stretch on the neck muscles. And when you're satiated and happy and content, bringing yourself into a nice relaxing position. We didn't do a quad stretch. We didn't do a hamstring stretch. If any of those things feel necessary for you, you could do so, or you could just relax. Exactly. Good job, Carol. That's what Jen's doing here. The people who know they need to do a front thigh hip flexor stretch are doing it. Good job. For those on the video, that would be this one. Okie dokie. So make yourself cozy and comfortable. Letting go of any holding. Nothing you need to do. Just being and letting gravity do its job. Letting the body rest into the floor. Welcoming and acknowledging any sensations that are present, what's present in the physical body, just being curious. We don't need to fix or change anything at this stage. We just need to welcome, acknowledge, be curious. And then feeling out from the body, out into the space around you. Feeling into the undeniable presence of life force as we simply just be and breathe. Gratitude for our bodies, minds, and hearts, able to share this time together, taking care of ourselves. And listening to the region of the heart and asking, how does the life force wish to live through us? Letting go of this and feeling yourself as the breath arising and falling away. filling and emptying. And if other thoughts or sensations arise, again, acknowledging them, noticing what comes up and returning your attention to that breath. And just focusing for a moment on the inhalations and being curious to what feelings or sensations arise with the inhalation. Is there a buoyancy or a lightness? Maybe there's a sense of effort, because in reality it is the muscles having to do work to help create the vacuum to invite that air in. What is the feelings, textures, qualities of inhalation? Where does it move in the body? And then focusing your awareness on the exhalation, maybe a quality of relaxation, ease, letting go, emptiness, effortlessness, or something else. What is the order or pathway of the exhalation? And then thirdly, awareness of maybe the moments of suspension or pause between the inhalation and the exhalation, and between the exhalation and the inhalation. Are there brief moments where there's nothing, no movement, a pause? And what does that feel like? And letting your awareness just be inclusive of the whole of each breath all together. And then to help evoke a sense of peace and contentment and ease, your inner resource of well-being, imagine a place you love. And in your imagination, be there. This could be in the company of others, loved ones or pets or whatever it might be, or simply communing with nature, whatever it is for you. And noticing the sensations that arise in the body as we imagine our happy places. Is there a vibration, a warmth, a location in the body, a color or a texture? And see if we can stay with the feelings that occur in the body as we perhaps let go of the imagery. And if the feelings dissipate, then we can go a little bit to and fro to holding the imagery and then letting go of the imagery and seeing if we can sustain some sensation of joy or pleasure that occurs with our image. And lastly, just bringing back, if we had an intention for our practice today, reflecting back on that, it might be the same or it may have changed, or something we may wish to integrate into the rest of our week. And as you're ready, gently wriggling into fingers and toes. Bringing your sense of well-being with you, your inner resource. And if you feel like you want to continue to rest, you're welcome to do so. You're in the luxury of your own home. Namaste.